Greetings everyone, my name is Captain Jack, and today we're talking about the launch of Starbase. Yes, this is the upcoming space, sandbox, vertex, hybrid MMO we've been looking forward to. We're going to dive into all the details today, including what Starbase is, when you get into it, how much it's going to cost, the details between a closed alpha transition to an early access transition, and what you can expect from the game when you jump into it, or hopefully jump into it with us, this time next week, give or take. Let's get into all the details. Okay, quickly let's talk about what Starbase actually is for those who don't know. It's basically a new sci-fi MMO game by Frozen By. It was revealed all the way back in 2019, specifically in May 2019. And at that time had been 5 years in the making, so around about 7 years give or take right now in 2021. Now the studio behind it is Frozen By. They're well known for their Trine series of games amongst other things, and the goal of Starbase is to be a massive multiplayer online game, with gameplay focused on building and designing spaceships, stations, exploration, resource gathering, crafting, trading, and combat. It is coming to early access next week, that's right, I'll have the details in a second, and you can basically discover more about the game. You're going to be ready to conquer space by yourself in a fully destructible MMO environment. Players are going to be able to work together, create companies, build these massive star bases, control capital ships, start moon bases, and do all this fancy stuff. There is tons of stuff to go from there, and also you can build custom ships as well. We all know what you're here for, you want to learn about the early access. So after a long wait, early access is starting next week on Thursday, July 29th at 6 PM EST, 8 AM PT, and 3 PM UTC. I'll put these times on screen right now so you can see them. Now the game is going to be priced at €32, $34, and 27 British pounds. Obviously you can find your local currency via Steam as well, or you can run those through a converter. They're on screen now and down below in the video description. Fun fact by the way, to encourage you to pick it up, they're kicking off with a week-long 10% launch discount, meaning you get a bit of a cheeky discount if you do pick up the game in launch. Obviously I do expect it to come to Steam sales at some point, maybe so not right now, maybe as we approach like, autumn and things like that. We'll have to see how that goes. Now one thing to keep in mind is Starbase has been running a closed alpha for some time now. As such, a lot of stuff has happened in the game world. With early access, this will be going back to a blank slate. What I mean by this is the Starbase universe will now be a blank canvas ready to be populated. New core gameplay features, which we'll discuss in a minute, kind of like the tech tree, crafting, ship easy build mode, and station easy build mode, will be available on the release day next Thursday. The devs are aiming to show the clear state of the game at launch. Now, be in mind, it does launch into early access in a clear alpha stage. However, the core features are well established and there's fun to be had for sure. But keep in mind, this is an alpha game we are going to be jumping into. It's clear from the get-go, this is an early access and an early alpha. It's not ready fully yet, so there's going to be some bugs and some kinks in the pipeline along there. You're sort of just going to have to bear with them. That is the joys of early access, as I think many of you would know by now. The scale and the scope of the game is going to show what they update as more massive features of the game every 2 weeks in August and September. That includes capital ships and station siege mechanics. We of course all remember the Starbase trailers where robots or endoskeletons etc. are charging at the stations, blowing everything up. That is obviously going to be station sieges and things like that. So player stations will be destructible. We'll talk about that in more detail, specifically the roadmap, in just a minute. Many important gameplay loops are coming to Starbase shortly after launch, keep that in mind. The idea behind the major content update is to ease players into the new big features, and by introducing them a few weeks apart with planned dates announced, everyone will have time to prepare for their arrival. After a short period of tranquil mining, ship and station designing and building, as well as relatively small-scale PvP engagements, the post-launch period will quickly start to heat up. The August update will introduce moon bases and mining and the massive capital ships, while the September update introduces siege mechanics. Will send the world into full-scale calamity as player stations become destructible and capturable. We have some details about the updates here, which I'll read to you in just a second. We'll talk about the roadmap, but also let's talk about the upcoming updates to the game. So to quickly recap there, Starbase is releasing this time next week. You can jump into it. It is an alpha, so do keep that in mind. I'll take this moment to apologise for any weird noise you can hear, such as seagulls or birds. The UK is in the middle of a heatwave right now, and oh boy. Anyway, let's talk about the new updates. Of course, we've got August 2021. This is called Big Ships and Lunar Engagements. Don't forget, these details could change at a later date. This update will introduce moon bases and mining. Build freeform structures on moons, including cities, moons, and huge asteroids can also be mined. Capital ships are also being introduced. This is station-sized ships capable of fast travel and siege warfare. We've had some more details about capital ships since then. I expect it'll change before they're introduced in August, so we'll go over that another day and what you can expect from it. September 2021 brings dusk on the firing line. Social tools for companies are being introduced. This introduces company tags. Company members can tag players with icons. Companies can organize missions and of course company storage as well. This is going to be really helpful for getting companies of players in there, and gives me a good segue by the way. If you want to come and join us in Starbase for the launch week, Red Industries, my personal faction, is recruiting and I can't wait to see you in there. Simply come visit our Discord server down below, join us in game, trust me you're going to enjoy it. I cannot wait to play with many of you inside Starbase next week in early access. And plus you're going to want a group to play with to show you the ropes and journey around with. So come join RWI, the link's down below in the Discord, and we'll see you there very soon. A part of the September update is also Station Siege. Station siege mechanics and dynamic shields. Destructible stations and capital ships during siege are something to keep in mind with, and of course we'll have more details about that when we actually approach the update thing. There have been details so far, however I expect some things will change as we eventually approach the release date, so that's something to keep in mind. Now in terms of the roadmap, we can see progress has been made since we last saw it. However, we also know got highlighted August and September for the big things that are coming soon, such as the things I just read out to you. In terms of what's also on the roadmap so far, we have refineries, which is converting gas into different materials. We've got space exploration, or hotspots on moons and new dust clouds. We've also got a ship control update, that will come at a later date, so mouse controls for ships. That's already sort of testing already in the closed alpha, and new screens and buttons and lights. As well as that, we'll have insignias and reputation. Insignias for characters and companies, company reputation and a rank system, and player rating system for CV. Essentially, if you're doing missions of things in games, players will be able to rate you to say if you're trustworthy and can actually get the job done. It's kind of a cool idea, also a way to prevent griefers and just idiots in general, I guess. We'll also have cosmetic and voice. The cosmetic shop and optional voice communication to nearest players will be introduced as well. Interesting to see how that plays out. Now, of course, there's a ton of other things on the roadmap as well, including hangars and cargo areas to transport ships. We've got ship ownership, secure blueprints, item crates, decorations, auction houses, loot systems, advertisement chips, player shops. This will all be stuff that's introduced at a later date. It was last updated on the 22nd of July, 2021, which of course today. This is the most up-to-date roadmap so far. Obviously, as we go forward into, the early access phase next week, thank you please, we are going to see more changes to the roadmap as it comes around. So that's something we can get excited for. Interjecting slightly here, I kind of forgot to mention this in the main video. Basically, the closed alpha is going to transition into early access. Some of you might be wondering how this is going to take place if you've been playing the closed alpha so far. Here's how it's going to go. Yes, you are going to need to purchase the early access version to join, just like regular players. The closed alpha is ending in preparation for Thursday the 29th of July. It will end on Monday the 26th of July, around about 3 AM UTC. That's kind of late evening Sunday in North America. Some of you over there. There's going to be a celebratory event on Sundays. If you want to join in and go for that, you can. A lot of things are changing in the Starbase universe. So moons, planets, and origin stations are being moved around. There's going to be quite a few new moons, and their locations have changed. All developer stations like Roba, etc. have been removed. Only Origins and the Moon City exist in-game. It's now going to be entirely up to players like you and me to populate this universe. The Origin stations, there are now multiple of them. These, of course, where you start inside of a game. It's just one of many. The radio transmitters from the original Origins have been moved to beacon stations. Any GPS system will need to be recalibrated with the new fixed beacon stations. Ship blueprints are ready and standing by. They're going to have the ability to import ships from alpha to early access in the near future, so eventually that'll come around, so take your blueprints while you can get them. It'll come in the most early phase of early access. Player stations are going to be wiped at early access, however, we may accept and store some player stations as relics. They won't be the same coordinates as they are in closed alpha, and they'll be unstable, i.e. can't be claimed. If you'd like to submit your stations, you can send a DM to one of your Starbase community managers with the coordinates of your station and preferably a couple of screenshots so we can evaluate it easier. Now, other items, such as non-ship blueprints, user-owned items, will be wiped when we move to the closed alpha to early access. This includes all player and station inventories, so if you're trying to stash stuff away, you're not going to happen. One little fact, by the way, if you're worried about your name in the early access and the upcoming Starbase universe, they've got some information for you here. Alpha players who have played Starbase Alpha for at least 10 hours will have a precedent for their established usernames and faction company names for a week-long period, and will be guaranteed their name in the event of a name clashing upon request to a community manager. This span of time may also be extended at the will of Frozenby, to be determined on a case-by-case basis. Following this, they reserve a right to change any player's name for this reason or any other reason, i.e. moderation purposes. We also do not allow the use of names that belong to any well-known online personas. If you are such a person and can't register your name, please pick another name and get in touch at community management and they'll change it for you. So if you're a big YouTuber or streamer, etc. and someone's nicked your name, because let's be honest, people do that, the devs have graciously suggested they can do and change that for you. Yay for people like me. I don't think anyone will steal my name though. It's kind of boring. So to recap this, Starbase is releasing this time next Thursday. Are you going to jump into it? Do let me know down below in the video comment section as per usual. I am massively excited for it, cannot wait to jump into the game. We've been looking forward to this for quite some time now, and to finally be here when it's releasing, oh boy, I am excited for it. It's going to be great. Obviously, yes, we are going into an alpha game, there's going to be bugs, things might not work so well, but realistically, compared to games that have come out in the past year, you may know what I mean, I'm feeling relatively more optimistic about this due to how Frozen Byte, the developers of the game, have handled communication and the game so far. Yes, it's been delayed, and I know many people have said, Jack, it's been delayed, it's never going to come out. Well, there is reasons for that in a way. A game's first impression is super critical these days. If a game comes out and it's terrible on the first day, people won't go back to it. The majority will not go back to it. Anthem, other games, etc., all like that. If they have terrible first impressions, that's it in a sense. That can be detrimental to an indie developer like Frozen Byte. If they do that, it's over. So therefore, we had to delay the release until it's fully ready. On the flip side, I know many of you have been questioning, Jack, why haven't you been producing videos as of yet? Well, as I stated earlier, the Starbase universe in Early Access is going to be a fresh slate, with a bunch of new updates as well, and obviously it's a blank canvas, and new core gameplay features. Therefore, if I was making videos and constant posts and streams, they wouldn't really be relevant right now when we go into Early Access. Instead, I've been prepping content this whole time, so when we do go to Early Access next week, we're going to have a ton of videos and stuff prepared and ideas in mind to show you the beauty of the Starbase universe and show what we can do together as RWI in-game. So once again, do come and join us. The link is down below to the video description for Discord. Come join the Discord channel, check out the Starbase channel. You can claim a free Discord rank in there to show off your sort of affiliation of us, and then you can go through the process of joining us in-game as well. If you are interested in joining us for next week, get those applications in today or across the weekend, and we'll make sure you're inside the org, ready for next week, and ready to come join us in-game and have some fun. We're going to be streaming it, making videos, and I want you guys to be a part of it. It is going to be epic. This is one big new game I'm really hoped for and hyped for. It's going to be fantastic. But alright, I've been Captain Jack, bringing you the Starbase update today. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and of course, I'll see you next time.